The Human Security Officer, Part 55. The festival was in full swing, a vibrant celebration that pulsed with life and energy. Laughter and music mingled in the air, creating a symphony that wrapped around Penn and Gareth like a warm embrace. They stood together, watching as the revelers danced, their bodies swaying and spinning in a mesmerizing rhythm. The colorful lights strung overhead twinkled like stars, casting a magical glow over the festivities. As the night deepened, the sense of community and shared joy enveloped them. Bit by bit, a portion of the crew gathered around them, drawn into the festive atmosphere. Deeg, ever the adventurous spirit, was busy taste-testing a myriad of foods he had collected, moving from dish to dish with an insatiable curiosity. He sampled each one meticulously, first alone and then experimenting with various combinations, creating a concoction of flavors that left his taste buds buzzing with excitement. Tunny T, the ever-diligent scientist, observed Deeg's gastronomic explorations with a portable analysis machine in hand. His attention was absorbed in the readings, the noise and bustle of the festival fading into the background as he scribbled notes, utterly oblivious to the vibrant spectacle around him. Meanwhile, Will found his way to the table, hopping up next to Gareth with a piece of bread clutched in his furry paws. The little creature looked both excited and anxious, his usual confident demeanor somewhat shaken by the lively atmosphere. "How you doing, Thwill?" Gareth asked, his voice warm and encouraging. I'm doing," Thwill replied, his voice trailing off as he nibbled on the bread. He trembled slightly, but Gareth could see the determination in his eyes. Just being here amidst the celebration was a massive step forward for him. Penn leaned out, offering her support with a reassuring smile. "You're doing great, Thwill." The creature's ears perked up at her words, his fur puffing up with pride as he took a hearty bite of his bread. It was clear that the encouragement meant a lot to him, and Gareth felt a swell of camaraderie among the crew. As the music pulsed around them, Deeg hopped down from the bench, brushing off his attire with an enthusiastic grin. "Time to try some Terran dancing. It's a bit energetic, but I think I can keep up." "Good luck," Gareth called after him, amusement dancing in his eyes. "You give me too little credit," Deeg replied, determination lighting up his features as he made his way toward a group of dancers, their bodies moving in a dynamic exchange of energy. He watched for an opening and hopped into the cycle without missing a beat. The humans around him were significantly taller, their movements seemingly choreographed, yet they flowed seamlessly, adapting to the rhythm of the music. The goal was not perfection but enjoyment, and Deeg quickly found himself swept up in the joyful chaos of the dance. As he moved, he felt a thrill run through him. The air was thick with laughter and breath, and as he passed by, he noticed the sheen of sweat glistening on many faces. Yet, despite the exertion, none slowed or faltered. Instead, they seemed to revel in the fatigue, their spirits lifted higher with each passing moment. A woman with curly brunette hair joined him, her simple yet beautiful attire accentuating her vibrant spirit. She wore handmade bracelets that jingled with each spin and a crochet dress that billowed out like a cloud. Sweat rolled down her glowing bronze skin, and her deep green eyes sparkled with joy as she smiled. Deeg remembered catching a glimpse of her dancing when the festivities first began, but here she was still, full of energy and life. They twirled together, the music carrying them through a whirlwind of movement. Deeg felt his body begin to relent to the physical exertion. It wasn't that he couldn't keep up with the rhythm, but rather that these humans seemed to dance with an unyielding energy that left him in awe. This woman had been dancing non-stop, and it was inspiring yet exhausting. Eventually, he knew he had to concede. He managed to time his exit gracefully, panting as he made his way back to the table. With a final burst of effort, he climbed onto the bench and plopped down, breathing heavily. "Wow," he gasped, the exhilaration still coursing through him. "That was something." "You dance well, Deeg," Penn said with a chuckle. "It looked like you were having fun for the little bit you were out there." Little bit. What's the saying? Dance till I dropped? Yes, I danced till I damn near dropped. Deeg replied, his eyes wide with disbelief. You were out there for 9 minutes, Deeg, Gareth interjected, amusement dancing in his voice. No way, had to be longer than that, Deeg protested. Tunny T, who had been diligently working with his analysis machine, chimed in, 9 minutes and 17 seconds, sir. Well, I still think that's pretty good. It's this planet's atmosphere. Way too thick, and the gravity is too high, even with the suit's help. Yes, I see, Penn said, laughing at the absurdity of it all. By all means, Penn, you could show us how it's done? Gareth teased, his eyes glinting. I think I'm quite ALR, Penn began, but another voice interrupted from behind her. I would be happy to take that dance. Everyone turned to see a slim, tan-skinned man standing there, his loose clothing swaying with the music. He was younger than Penn by a few years and shorter by more than a few inches, but his well-groomed hair and disarming smile gave him a certain charm. If you would have me, he finished, extending his hand toward Penn. Gareth started, a protective instinct flaring within him. I think I'd just end up stepping on you, so. Nonsense. I'm quite deft, you'll see. His hand remained outstretched, an invitation wrapped in confidence. Bold. That was for sure. I don't. Oh, come on, Penn. No need to get embarrassed. Have fun. Deeg pushed, grinning at the unfolding interaction. See? Your friends know what you need. Cut loose. Gareth added, trying to lighten the mood. The man's hand stayed extended, waiting patiently. Fine, Penn finally relented, her resolve crumbling as she looked at the outstretched hand. She had been stewing long enough, anyway. A bit of dancing couldn't hurt. Really? Gareth asked, astonished at her decision. With an upheld finger, Penn down the rest of her drink, looking at Gareth with determination. There. Now I'm ready. She took the man's hand, feeling a mixture of excitement and trepidation as he helped her up. The height difference between them became even more apparent as they moved out into the thrumming crowd. Despite her towering advantage, the man proved his skill as he guided her through the throngs of dancers. Relax, he said, his voice smooth and reassuring. We're not enemies. You don't need to analyze me for weaknesses here. Just listen to the music, find a flow, and let go. I'll follow your lead. I've never been too good at this. I'm not built for, Penn hesitated, insecurity creeping in. It's not how you're built, hon, it's how damn tense you are. Let it go. You're in your own head, which only makes things worse. No. Penn took a deep breath, letting her shoulders drop as she considered his words. He was right. She had been so focused on not messing up that she had forgotten the essence of dance, the freedom of expression. Maybe footwork could be her anchor. She had experience in close combat, after all. Nice. Solid, he said, observing her movements. As she tuned into the music, Penn started to follow the rhythm, focusing on her footwork and letting her body move naturally. Her anxiety began to fade as she surrendered to the music, feeling the knot in her stomach loosen. The man helped guide her arms, yet still allowed her to set the pace. The music flowed through her, and her attention shifted from her own body to the smiling faces around her. Each person exuded joy, their laughter mingling with the melodic beats. The air was rich with the scent of cooked meats, bonfire smoke, and fresh earth. It was intoxicating, an experience that felt like being enveloped in warmth and connection. Meanwhile, Gareth watched from the sidelines, chuckling as he observed Penn's movements. At first, her dancing was clunky, but as the rhythm took hold, she began to enjoy herself. However, his smile faltered as he focused on the man. The dancer was skilled, no doubt, but Gareth couldn't shake a nagging sense of dislike. What was it? Perhaps it was the way the man's hair was too perfectly styled, or how he seemed to flaunt his physique in that open shirt. It might have been the confidence that came off him in waves, an aura Gareth found unsettling. I know that look, Tunny T chimed in, glancing up from his notes. Such disdain. No. I just don't know how I feel about the man who asked Penn to dance, Gareth replied, his eyes narrowing. Seemed fine to me, Tunny T shrugged, unimpressed. How could you tell? Your attention is drowning in your research. Gareth huffed. Tunny T blinked, realizing he had indeed been engrossed in his work. Nothing, Gareth sighed, turning his gaze back to the dance floor. The festival stretched on into the early morning, the crew adopting an on and off system of dancing. They'd join in the revelry until exhaustion set in, then retreat to rest before returning to the festivities. Eventually, they all found themselves lounging, worn out yet fulfilled, soaking in the ambience of the fading celebration. As the night wound down and people began to filter out, Gareth looked around, searching for Penn. A wave of unease washed over him when he realized he couldn't spot her. His frills flashed in concern, and he sprang to his feet, scanning the crowd. He spotted Deeg deep in conversation with some humans at another table and rushed over. Deeg, where's Penn? He asked, urgency lacing his tone. Not sure, Deeg replied, glancing around. Oh, there's that dancer guy. He might know? I bet he does, Gareth thought, his heart racing with a sense of foreboding. He made his way toward the dancer, determination in his stride. The man was laughing and chatting, clearly enjoying himself, but Gareth's instincts flared as he approached. Hey, you! Where's Penn? Gareth demanded, his voice sharper than he intended. Whoa, settle down. I think? If I'm misinterpreting the raised voice, my apologies, the dancer started, raising his hands defensively. No, you've got it right. Raised voice equals anger. Now answer my question. What did you do with her? Gareth pressed, frustration bubbling to the surface. Nothing? We danced. She got in the groove after a while. We split up and found each other a couple of times. Then just a bit ago, she headed out, the man replied casually. Headed out? Gareth echoed, alarm bells ringing in his head. You know how it is. Alcohol, too little and you don't want to dance, or too much and you can't dance, he explained, shrugging as if it were all perfectly normal. Where'd she go? Gareth's voice grew more insistent. Back to your ship, I'd assume? She certainly looked like she was heading that direction. Gareth's heart sank. Fine. Bye. Thanks, he muttered, turning away in a hurry. No problem, the dancer called after him, but Gareth was already moving, quickening his pace toward the ship. Within minutes, he reached the vessel, the familiar sight of it bringing a momentary sense of relief. But as he approached, a sense of unease settled over him again. The door panel indicated an occupant inside, but a deep breath calmed his racing heart. He knocked on the door, but silence greeted him. Penn, he called, knocking again, a touch more urgent this time. Still, no answer. With a moment of hesitation, he finally decided to press the door button and peek inside. What he found brought a wave of relief mixed with concern. Penn was curled up in her bed, her form nestled into the cushions. He noticed it was a different bed, larger and more suited for a human. Yet what caught his attention was her hand dangling over the side of the bed, something having slipped from her grasp and dropped to the floor. As he moved closer, he realized it was a pad of paper. Instinctively, his curiosity piqued. The metal container she guarded so closely was open on the other side of the room, the pad clearly having come from there. He knew he shouldn't snoop, yet the allure of the paper was too strong. Just a quick look, he promised himself. He'd only turn it over to see what was written. With soft steps, he approached and flipped the pad over. The sight that greeted him was not what he had expected. Instead of written words, he was met with a drawing, a remarkably realistic one of Deke. Astonishment washed over him as he took in the details. It was unfinished, but the intensity in Deke's eyes seemed to leap off the page, so lifelike it was as if Gareth were staring at a black and white photograph. His mind raced with questions. Why was Penn drawing Deke? What did this mean? He stepped back, uncertainty flooding him. Should he confront her about it? Would she be upset that he had invaded her privacy? As he contemplated his next move, the quiet of the ship wrapped around him, punctuated only by the distant sounds of the fading festival outside. Penn's breathing was steady, a rhythmic reminder of her peaceful state, oblivious to the turmoil brewing in Gareth's mind. After a few moments of indecision, Gareth sighed deeply. Perhaps it was best to wait until she awoke, to allow her the space to share her thoughts with him when she was ready. He retreated to the door, glancing back at Penn one last time before stepping out. As the door slid shut behind him, he felt a strange mix of protectiveness and curiosity stir within him. Whatever was unfolding between Penn and Deke was something he would need to navigate carefully. He had to trust her, but the unease lingered, an insistent whisper in the back of his mind. The festival continued outside, but for Gareth, the real celebration was about to unfold, a journey into the depths of friendship, trust, and perhaps something more that lay beneath the surface. As he walked away from the door, he knew that the night was far from over. In the heart of the festivities, revelations awaited, and he was determined to uncover them all. The night was alive with possibility, and as Gareth stepped back into the celebration, he couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning of something profound. The music called to him, echoing the pulse of the vibrant gathering. The atmosphere crackled with excitement, the air thick with anticipation, and Gareth knew that he would embrace whatever came next, ready to dive headfirst into the adventure that awaited them all. And so, the festival raged on, its spirit infectious, drawing everyone deeper into its embrace. With each heartbeat, the night whispered secrets, inviting the crew to dance not only with their bodies but also with their hearts, unearthing connections that would shape their journey in ways they could not yet comprehend. The celebration was just the beginning. The story of their lives was about to unfold, rich with laughter, friendship, and perhaps even love, weaving a tapestry of memories that would last a lifetime.